We're here at the home of the Deadly Dozen, so Macclesfield Athletics Track. I've been convinced to do the Deadly Mile. For some reason I've agreed. It is the Deadly Mile, however I've put knee sleeves on so I don't get grazed knees, because I'm going to be kneeling up and then burpees because it's 400 metres. So the Deadly Mile is 400 metres of walking lunges. It's all body weight, so it's the 3 labours and 1 journey, i.e. the run. So 400 metres of walking lunges, 400 metres of burpee broad jumps, 400 metres of bear crawl, infamous within the Deadly Dozen, and then a 400 metre run to finish. So on an athletics track, every lane adds 7 metres. So this would be 400 metres, 407, 414, 421, and so on. Now during the Deadly Dozen, the main competitors that are doing the solo, the pairs, the relay, they're obviously on the inside lanes. There's plenty of room on this huge track, so they're using the inner lanes. What we also have concurrent on the day is the Deadly Mile, which I've just described. So they'll be on the outer 4 lanes. So they do a single loop and then they stop. They can have a little bit of a jog in, shake the legs off. Today, I'll probably use the second lane just in case we get any runners turn up and they've got some idiot doing bear crawls around the track. Imagine coming for a sprint session or a track day and there's me crawling along looking like an idiot. Right, so this is going to be absolutely horrific. How do you train for an event like this? Basically, you've got to build up the volume. So I've not trained at all for this. I've been training obviously for Deadly Dozen. I'm also doing the Decker and the Hyrox and other races like that. So I've been training, I've got fairly good work capacity, but I've not trained specifically for this. I've not worked on upping the amount of volume I've been doing of lunges, burpee broad jumps and bear crawl. So potentially this is absolutely going to be, it's going to destroy me today, essentially. It's quite hot. I've got the Factor 50 on. I've got my trainers from Running Bear. So these have got a carbon plate. They're actually carbon trail trainers. So this is what I'll be wearing to compete in at the Deadly Dozen. So obviously you've got the softer foam with the carbon plate that actually allows that rigidity. So they're often quite good for fitness racing because they're cushioned enough for the running, which obviously as well, the track is a cushioned surface. So we've got enough cushioning to run, but we've also got enough stiffness and rigidity that we can do the labours like the squats and the lunges. So often the carbon trainers are great for fitness racing. However, because of that stiffness, they're not the sort of trainers that you want to wear all the time, because that's where you could be putting an excess stress on the Achilles and the lower limb. Obviously, I've also got my Garmin on today, so I'll be setting this to run outdoors, so it uses the GPS. So when we're indoors, we might use the indoor run, right? Because it uses an accelerometer from the arm, and you can actually calibrate that on a treadmill where you run for at least a K or 2K, input the distance and it calibrates to sort of your running style. So in indoor events or the gym races, indoor run can be better where you're adding in the runs. I'll use the outdoor run. The problem with outdoor run on a small track, obviously it's quite a big track, or if you're doing small loops or short runs, the GPS is not quite as good. It's better when you're doing a sort of long distance run, hence why you might choose to do indoor run on a track session, for example. I've got quite a basic 245. I'm a simple guy. However, on the more expensive or more advanced Garmin watches and other watches like that, you have got what's called multi-sport. So when you're doing the full event, you can actually set it up so you've got, for example, indoor or outdoor run, and then when you lap it, it transfers to resistance exercise where you're getting time under tension, the other metrics. So that's a great way to do it if you've got a watch that allows it. So you can set it up 12 labours or 12 journeys where it'll jump between the run, labour, run, labour, run, labour. I'll be doing the outdoor run today. I'll lap each time. I haven't got any idea what time I get. It's going to be painful. I'm going to pace myself, hopefully. Cameraman's looking at me like you've not once paced yourself. So we'll start with the lunges. I think that might be a bit of a dark horse where it'll catch up to me. Burpee broad jumps with the jumps, bear crawl, and then let's see what I can get on a 400 metre after all that. I can go sub 60 on a 400, not incredibly fast, but fast enough, but I don't think I will be today. So let's see how I get on. So we're starting off with the lunges. This one, in all honesty, I didn't find too bad as a whole. It's just a burner on the legs. I kept my hands off the legs, but we will allow that. Knee to the floor every time, so definitely worth wearing the knee sleeves, just so you're not scraping the knees. I tried to go quite fast. I wasn't sure actually whether to set down in between each lunge, so take a lunge and then step up and then stride. But I essentially just lunged, did about 4 or 5 lunges, took a quick break, and lunged again. Did this in about 9:34, which I was quite happy with. Onto the burpee broad jumps, which I think is the worst for me by far. It's a lonely 400 metres, you can see now, as it pans above. It's just you and the track, and obviously I have a drone buzzing around me at the same time as well. So it was just me and the drone. There I am suffering. There's a dog walker to the side looking at me like I'm a nutcase, not really sure what's going on. So it's a long way round.
Yeah, this one, you could definitely push, but I'm not sure whether to push.
Yeah.
You know, because you might catch me, and bear crawls might see me off.
So this is the burpee broad jumps I was probably most disappointed in, 18:35, which was far slower than I wanted. I wanted around 10 to 15 minutes per station. Onto the bear crawl. I felt good to start, in all honesty. It was fine, a little bit rough on the hands, but nothing too much drama. And then it all came to an end. On my knees there, struggling. Like I say, it just caught up with me. Could keep going, but I'd have to stop every sort of 10 strides, essentially, with the bear crawl. On the bear crawl, I got 14:04, which I'm fairly happy with. So sub 10 on the lunge, sub 15 on the bear crawl. It was the burpee broad jumps at almost 19 minutes that I need to improve. I need to get them sub 15 and essentially take almost 5 minutes off my total time. So bear crawl is just a mental game. It's about keeping going. You're not red zoning. It's not burning too much. It's just about keep pushing. You lose the motivation, especially when it's just me and the track and no one else there. It's just hard to just keep pushing for another bear crawl. Really feeling it here. Sometimes you just want to get it done fast. Into the run here. In all honesty, the run wasn't physically too hard. I did it in 2:17, which is pretty slow for a 400 for me. But my legs were just jittering. So the hamstrings and the calves, after all them jumps and the bear crawls, they just felt like they were about to pull. So realistically, I didn't want to risk injury. So overall, it was 44:33, which I was fairly happy with. I think I can take 4 or 5 minutes off them burpees and get it sub 40. Definitely. That would be the future plan. At this stage, I didn't want to ever do a deadly mile again, but I probably will in the future.
Yeah, it was good. It was the hardest part is not, it's sort of pace, it's motivating yourself to go harder. It's not like a fitness race where you can sort of teeter around that threshold or even venture into the red zone. You're sort of constantly at just a state of fatigue, and that's what's hard. So it's, you know you could push harder, but you know you've got so much longer left. So I did it in 44:33. So the first lap was 9:34. So that was the lunges, and that was all right. Got your legs burning. No hands on the legs I did. And then it was 18:35 for the burpee broad jumps, which is terrible, but I'm not, even though I can jump well and I can burpee well, I'm just over 6 foot and weigh, 14.5 stone. So I'm reasonably heavy, even though I'm quite slim. So they're always something that red zone me in a race anyway. So I need to get better at them. And I've not trained for long duration. So our kit guy, Rob, I think he'd beat me by a country mile on this because he does so much long duration training, which I don't do. I do more of the sort of, I do a lot more of the harder training because I enjoy it. So that's where my training needs to focus more on the long duration to get better at the races. I did 14 minutes on the bear crawl. I thought it was much slower than that, but I think the bear crawl just is a bit demoralising, and hand went onto a stone, and that's what made it sort of sting a bit as I was going round.
I see that hand.
So that was a stone on the track. Nearly killed, might lose my arm. And then 2 minutes 17, but I had a water break, I didn't lap it. So just around 2 minutes for the 400. But in all honesty, I could have pushed the 400 a little bit harder, but I felt the back of my legs going like that. After all that work, so I was like, I'm not twinging a muscle now by pushing, I'm just gonna get through it. So I'm happy with 44:33 because it's under 45, which is my target for the deadly dozen. Like I say, it's all about, there's a different type of motivation, I think. I think I can hold threshold, and I can hold that real state of discomfort during a deadly dozen, during a fitness race. This was different. This was like that low level total body fatigue. So in fitness race, especially deadly dozen, you work in different zones. Like we're doing circuit training, you might do a lower body, upper body, trunk exercise. You sort of work in different muscle groups, and it's almost like you're using the energy from them muscles, then you're using the energy from the upper body. It's like effective utilization. With this, you're just bear crawling for 400 meters. So it just accumulates and accumulates. And even though you sort of, I could talk to you quite comfortably, you just felt fatigued and drained. And that's what, it was a completely different feeling and something that you'd need to train for specifically. So enjoyed it, but 44:33, that's the time to beat. Give it a go.